African killer bee.
Are you trying to tell me bees killed the man here?
Yes, just like they knocked your two choppers down.
I don't know what happened to my two choppers, not yet. But I do know that thousands of people are stung by bees every year. And it's damn rare if anybody dies from bee stings.
Then they have to be African bees then, don't they?
The African killer bees?
The legacy's ready. Inhale the breath of life, resurrect the death of Christ. What you got to sacrifice? I'm on some other shit. Take over the mothership. Brothers get the cleaning covenant. Universal loving it. Olive oil, you rubbing it. Check the thermometer. Every kilometer rises by heat pressure. Your thermostat couldn't measure. Were you familiar? Atom bombs from Australia. Dark ages. So read the pages. Mighty Malachi. Born on the cusp between love and lust. Genesis to Exodus. Lazarus / Black Barnabas. The holy temple be the mental. You and I see Islamic Hindu. Understand the clear picture. Brave heart, verbal courage. Battle the seminar. Boy, you fam legacy. Watch us travel far. Positive energy. Always correct errors. Boy, you fam rule shit. Now and forever. Oratorical niggas is metaphorical. My editorial breaks down. Your monuments historical. Geologists studying land using the earth's crust measurements. 8 elements. Atomic weight plus density. High-tech science thrust through gravity. Revolve around my aura. I'm the solar. Keep spinning. What? Supernova, black quasar. My mental radar picks up frequencies way beyond the earth's equator. Forever glow. Electromagnetic force field. Thoughts build. We born for real. Boy, you fam still exist. Golden fist. You caught up in the devil's mist. Fire war. Boy, you sire laws. We feel this. Protons, electrons, atoms, cause explosions. The center of attraction. I'm the nucleus. You're frozen. My square be complete. Architectural, visual. The sound spectrum strikes the mental and the physical. My parameter, tangential diameter. Barcodes are scanned from America to Canada. What? From America to Canada. Get your mind ready. Brave heart, verbal courage. Battle the seminar. Boy, you fam legacy. Watch us travel far. Positive energy. Always correct errors. Boy, you fam rule shit. And forever what? Get your minds ready.
Rahubat people, what's good with you all, man? You know how I'm just popping in and out of this social media stuff. Just got my latest book done, so I thought I'd come and share some insight on DNA activation, because my little tribe, we're having the topic for this week is DNA activation. I've been a little busy, obviously writing and that, been in the background, so I thought let me just come and share this with you guys. First of all, how are you, man? Iraro, Paper, my Dragon Slayer, you know what I'm saying? How are you guys doing, man? Yo, DNA activation is a broad subject. I don't want to go on like it's my main subject, because it's not. I do know a few little things here and there to do with the science of it and the spiritual aspects. I'm a little weak in certain practices myself. Shout out to all my guys out there and girls out there, man. I might be a little weak myself in as far as I'm not fully alkaline diet. I don't eat cheese or anything like that. Do a lot of meditation, but I could still do a lot more still. Do a lot of crystal work, do a lot of chanting. So I just wanted to share some information with you guys in regards to the DNA activation. And I'm going to break it down from a genetic standpoint and come down to the chanting and stuff. First, let me just do a quick chant to do a different one. So I'll do the prayer of Osiris, and I'll do it in the sacred language of tones. Let me turn this off completely. I'll do it in the sacred language of tones, and then I'll translate it into English for you. So let me do it in Nuwabic first. Barkalum. Nuktao fogmin antutenya enosat. Anuki temli pata. Anuki li pali ul. Nuk halag tu pali ulat. Nuk gabal tu pali ulat. Ama bikun. Anuki pamahoy shil netru. Parre shil netru. Pamustarasil shil netru. Anuki fi panawoshil re. Panawoshil re kalundach uni. Anuki chayuzin azuf. Okay, so I said the prayer of Osiris. I fly up from you, O mortals. I am not for the earth. I am for the sky. I have soared to the skies. I have kissed the skies as a bikun, as a falcon. I am the essence of the DTs, the son of the DTs, the messenger of the DTs. I am in the light of Amun-Re. The light of Amun-Re is entering me. I am life itself. Amun. Yeah, so that was a quick chant for us to link ourselves with the higher plane. So I wanted to start this DNA activation lecture. Let me speed up as well, because I'm always dragging my words and it takes so long. They cut me off at an hour. So let's try and get it done within the hour. 46 chromosomes, yeah, is what a human being is composed of in his genetic DNA. 46 chromosomes. That's a very special number, because even though they don't tell you, Egyptology recognizes 31 dynasties, but there was originally, if you include all the proto-dynastic families, you actually have 46 dynasties, which stand for the 46 chromosomes, because the whole of the Egyptian kingdom, when it started, was an experiment to breed the perfect balanced human. That's what the gods did. Okay, so that goes into the human being himself or herself being what's called a human resonance circuit. Just like you got a light switch, and that light switch has a circuit that powers the light bulb, and you switch on the switch, and then the light bulb, all the energy from around the circuit converges in this bulb and turns it on, right? So humans also are a resonant circuit, and it's to do with resonance, where if you read in quantum physics what resonance is, it's the ability for atoms to communicate with each other across space without actually being in contact with each other, but to communicate across dimensions and across time and across space. Okay, so we're a walking, talking resonance circuit ourselves as human beings, and I'm going to tie that into how that works. Yeah, but what that means is when we were first created as energy beings, we didn't even have to talk, because of the fact that we had, like we've mentioned before, telepathy. We had 4 higher senses with the clairvoyance, the psychometry, the clairvoyance, psychometry, intuition, and what's the other one? Telepathy, psychometry, intuition. Well, there's 4 anyway, yeah? So them 4, yeah, made you what's called, where they say telepathic, they could be talking about any one of them 4 gifts, like your clairvoyance or your psychic connection, where you can speak across minds without any audible sound, or the other one is clairvoyance, the ability to see into other dimensions. That's in our 46 chromosomes as well, and such, you understand? And they lead to higher powers like telekinesis and teleportation and different types. They got subdivisions in them, and clear vision can lead to clairsentience and clairaudience and claircognizance and stuff like that. Okay, so if we go back to before 4000 BC, human beings were like that. We were more of an energy being, and we were less dense and less trapped in this meat suit. Okay, so at that stage, 4000 BC, when you get the Neanderthals manifesting from the caves, that was because of the Archon attack and the Archon takeover of the planet. So what happened at that point, a lot of us who were using telepathy, mind-to-mind communication, as you know now with the adrenochrome, the reptilians, the alpha draconians, they started targeting all the children with the strongest gifts. So if we go back to, I'm talking about now, in modern times, they take all the children who are psychic and who are going to change the world and and they're the ones they're torturing. Okay, so back in the day in 4000 BC, when they first came, they were looking for the humans with the most powers, the psychic humans. So if you were, because we were communicating with telepathy, it was easy for them to zone in on certain targets and just lock down everything. So at that point, we as human beings stopped communicating telepathically because we feared being attacked by the reptilians. At that point, when we stopped communicating mind to mind, we had to come up with languages now, what you call petroglyphs and pictographs. So at first, the languages weren't phonetic like English and the languages we talk now, coming from Semitic languages. Before the Semitic languages, all the languages were what you call pictorial languages, where it was a lot of petroglyphs and symbolisms, because we wasn't speaking for long anyway. We didn't need a language because we were using the full DNA. So we could just communicate mind to mind, energy, right? Well, when the Archon takeover came in, and that's what the whole Tower of Babel incident was about confounding the language and making humans can't understand each other and all that. But anyway, there was a ban on using telepathy due to the Alpha Draconians and their invasion of Earth, okay? So that gets us to the sacred language of tones. We came up to the point where it was like, okay, we need a language, a sacred language. So the first sacred language of tones, even though they don't teach you this in the institutions, the official institutions, was Nile Valley, what you call today Nuwabic. And there's a case because a lot of people like to say, oh, the Nuwabic's not hieroglyphs, and you're right, it's not. Hieroglyphs was not a common spoken language among the people. Hieroglyph was the sacred carvings that the priesthood would tell stories through and use it as an art form to relay certain events and certain sacred stories and traditions and stuff. That wasn't necessarily a language that was spoken among the people. The language that was spoken among the people, today they call it all kind of different names and attach it to different time periods so that you don't understand. That came first, but today they call it Demotic, okay, is one of the Egyptian languages. But really, Demotic is Nubic, because that was first found down in the south, in the Sudan. And what I'm trying to say is, when we first had petroglyphs and pictographs, that's what you call them. Some people call them petroglyphs, some people call them pictographs, okay? When we first had them, our brain was still working on a kind of symbolism and a kind of telepathy thing. So we could easily make sense of just looking at the glyphs and reading them, whether it was Mayan glyphs or Egyptian glyphs, or there are even glyphs in India, in Mohenjo-daro, whatever it's called, and Harappa, where they haven't deciphered them. And then you got Olmec glyphs, where white people are saying they haven't deciphered them. Do you understand what I'm saying? And Mayan ones and stuff like that. We got to that point where we was relaying a lot of information using petroglyphs. The language, the petroglyph the people were using, the common people, was actually a tree script. And it's very simple. I don't have the book around me for me to show you a picture of it, but I'll screenshot a picture out my book and put it on my page. But it's a tree script, and it was associated with Pharaoh Agrub, once again Pharaoh Scorpion, who is pre-dynastic Egypt. So we're talking before 4125 BC, according to white folks' date, and 41,250 BC, according to our own dates from our own griots. So yeah, the language came in and we had a tree script. And from the tree script, it turned into what we call today Nuwabic, where instead of the tree symbolism, we actually started creating letters, and it became not only a pictograph, a symbolic language, but it also became what's called phonetic languages, which is to do with the phonetics of the words. So each letter, you had an alphabet with letters, and then that got out of the Nile from the Phoenicians when they were trading. And then that Phoenician script, the Greeks borrowed it and made up their own Greek script, where you got the linear A and the linear B script. Then you get past languages anyway. So the Semitic languages, the first language to come out of all of them petroglyphs and all of that ancient stuff was what you call Akkadian. And that's to do with Nimrod. If you read Genesis 10:8, and it tells you about Nimrod going into Babylon and making all these Babylonian cities. And his main city was called Akkad. And that language was called Akkadian. So even though it used the cuneiform script, it was completely different spoken language to what Sumerian. It ran at the same time as Sumerian language. It was contemporary. It borrowed a lot from Sumerian, not just the writing, not just the script. But anyway, why I mention that is because that's the mother and father of all scriptural languages. When you talk about Ashuric and you talk about Aramic, there are two people in the Bible, Ashur and Aram. Ashur spawned what's called Ashuric, Syriac, Arabic. And Aram, he spawned what's called Aramic or Aramaic, and that became Hebrew. So going back to Akkadian is the mother language of Arabic and Hebrew. Do you understand what I'm saying? And they became known as Semitic languages. Okay, now Semitic languages came down in the same time frame of the Anunnaki, when I said they was going to confound our language and dumb down our vibration and that. So the Semitic languages is what's referred to as languages of Babel. You understand? And that comes from the Tower of Babel incident. And that's why they say people will babble on. You're babbling, you're chatting shit, you're confused. It's language of confusion. And that was done deliberately because, like I said about all these ancient languages, especially New Arabic, that's the sacred language of tones. So because it's a language of tones, and your voice box is actually a vibration, even when I talk, I can feel my vibration now. So it's a resonance circuit. So when you speak in your natural language, which is created to work on your DNA code, it opens different codes in your own DNA. So that's why, as we say a lot of time, when you pray, you don't want to pray in English. You want to learn your language. Like, there's no shortcut. If you learn your language, you can activate your DNA quicker. Because when you're praying, like I just did for you, the prayer of Osiris, I'm vibrating on the frequency that a black man was supposed to vibrate on. So when we speak English, our codes of DNA is not vibrating on the codes that we're supposed to be vibrating on. Our brain is not vibrating on the frequency that it's supposed to be vibrating on. It's probably still on the 7.83 hertz that they stuck the Schumann resonance in. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm trying to be quick so I don't just drag this lecture on. Okay, so why I'm saying that is there's magic in words. So when they talk about the 6,000 year spell asleep and being in a spell, notice in English when they say spell the word, yeah, the spell is in the way that you spell the word and the way that you say the word. You're putting a spell on yourself because, for one, it's like having a computer that's 64 gig, yeah, but you're only using 4 gig. When you're using English, you're only using 4 gig. You're not, like, if I'm praying in the prayer of Osiris, I'm using the full 64 gig or whatever gig it is, especially if I'm understanding what I'm saying. I'm not just memorizing and babbling a lot of stuff. Because I'll be real with you, even Arabic and Hebrew carries a certain level of vibration to it more than English. English is the deadest flatline vibration. It's not a language of tones. That's why they've stuck us all in English. And that's why I encourage people, if you're black, learn black languages. If you're Asian, learn your Asian languages. If you're a white person, speaking your white languages. You understand what I'm saying? But don't just think that, just be lazy and deal with English. If you want to crack the truth and awaken your DNA, because cracking the truth and awakening your DNA go hand in hand. It's not two separate things. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like a process where both of them are running parallel. So if you want to do that, you have to start with your own DNA. And your own DNA vibrates on a certain kind of frequency. It's programmable. And when you speak certain words of power, especially in your sacred languages of tones, your mystery language, yeah, then you're going to awaken your DNA on a next level. So word magic. So it can be used for you when you're using our own cultural stuff, or it can be used against you when you're taken out of your natural vibration and you're now locked in English and you think in English like an Anglo-Saxon and your tongue is colonized like an Anglo-Saxon. So it's harder for us to awaken our DNA. It's not impossible because as you will see, I've just started with language, but hold on. So the reason why I start with language is because when they say in the beginning was the word, in the beginning was the word, it's true, but it's only true to a certain extent, because in order for me to speak, like I had to write and plan this for you, this lecture, I've jotted down just bullet points, yeah? In order for me to speak now, I had to think about this shit. Thought came before speech. So when Christians in the Bible and that is saying in the beginning is the word, the book of John 1:1, nah mate, in the beginning was the thought. And that links back to the god Tahuti or Thoth. From the word Thoth comes the word thought. So the word thought, or the vibration or the frequency, comes before the words. And that's what I'm saying. If we go back to the frequency now that we're equipped to deal with these archons and these draconians, we will go back to speaking mind to mind, where we can just sub language off again, because everything is to do with cycles. Do you understand? That we're at the peak of the cycle now, where we're back in power. So we need to be throwing away the English and the French and all the languages that is not on our vibration, and tuning our children back into our vibration. So English don't even have to be their first language anymore. Do you understand? And I'm not saying to become an expert, but start. Yeah, and that thought links with the word theory, and the word theory comes from theoris, which was the Greek name for Taweret, or the hippopotamus. I shouldn't say hippopotamus, the goddess of childbirth, who was symbolized by a hippopotamus, but her name was Theoris, and that's where they get the name theory. when they talk telling you about theory, which includes thought, because she was the feminine principle, and Jehuti or Thoth was the masculine principle, theorist was the feminine principle. Do you understand? I just thought I'd link that for you. So Akkadian bred Chaldean, which bred Ashuric, which bred Syriac, which bred Aramic, which bred Hebrew, down the line. You understand? And then you can keep coming down the line all the way to English when you get to Europe, where they start with Latin. And then you get to Asia, and then they start with Sanskrit. You see what I'm saying? You can come all the way to English, which is a bastard tongue, which includes words out of all of that stuff before it, because it's not really a proper language with root words. It's not an eloquent language, to put it that way. It's not good for science or maths or history. Even though they tell you it is, you might believe that, English explains everything. It doesn't. English is bland. I'll give you an example. In Arabic and Egyptian and Demotic and all of these ancient languages, you can describe colours without mentioning the colour. But it's impossible to describe, let's say, blue in English without mentioning the colour blue. Like, it's not eloquent. It's a stupid language. There's not even root words, and it breaks its own rules, like I before E and all of that stuff. It's not a proper language. It's a devil's fork tongue. It's made to trap you, like you could see when you're dealing with common law and the legalese and all of that stuff. It was the god Enki who gave us the ability to activate our DNA. Because originally, we're done with languages now. Originally, we wasn't supposed to have the power. We wasn't supposed to be able to realize godhood and become God, as you see, like our ancestors did as Egyptians and Sumerians and Olmec and Moroccan Z and Mayans and stuff. We weren't supposed to be able to have that ability. The Anunnaki never created us in our best interest. They created us in their best interest. They just wanted the gold. They wanted us to mine, to take their work. They were tired of doing all the work mining gold. They wanted us to mine the gold. So when they made us, they wanted us to be dumb. So even when Enki made us dumb, they wanted him to make us dumber or keep us dumb. And he kind of grew attached to his creation, as did the other 7 scientists that were with him, like Mami and them. And so when the gods were calling the council, and you can read about the council, I always refer people to Psalms 82 verse 1, when it says the mighty El judges in the council of the gods. So it's showing you, even in the Bible, that this great council of gods that is spoken about in Egypt and Sumeria and different ancient kingdoms is still spoken about in the Bible, even though they try and wash over it. So that's Psalms 82:1. This council, anyway, they decided, listen, we want these humans dumb. We don't want them to have God power and all of that stuff. We just want them to be creatures. They do the work for us and blah, blah, blah. I'm speeding up my words again. Enki, to make a long story short, he didn't agree with that. He was like, I'm going to make my creation like, when they're done doing the work, if they want to elevate and become godlike and have their freedom, then all they have to do is activate their pineal gland, their kundalini energy, and they will be able to become like us. And he did that against the command of the gods. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you study the real story of I like to say Helios Biblios now, which is the Sun book, the Bible, when you're reading it with the real eyes. Do you understand? So he did that. He upgraded us and made sure that we had all of the Kundalini power and pineal consciousness and was able to be multidimensional and all of that stuff. That comes from Enki, and it's actually serpent wisdom, which is the serpent energy, where you see the double helix of your DNA spiral is the same way that your Kundalini energy spirals through your chakras, in the same way as the Kundalini energy. And it's the same way that the capstones of the pyramids used to break down, the gold capstones used to break down the light to its etheric form, and you can see the double strand helix in the light beam. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's why the serpent was demonized. One, because of what it really meant. It meant wisdom and it meant healing. That's what the Caduceus meant. That symbol with the staff, with the pineal circle on top and the 2 wings, and then the 2 serpents going around it, which the Greeks call the staff of Ecclesias, which became the medical symbol of the world. And also in the Bible, in the myth-made Bible, in their myth about it, when the mythical Moses is on the Exodus with the children of Israel, they get bit by a poisonous snake. And notice how Moses makes an image of the Caduceus with the staff and the thing and the wings and the 2 snakes. And everybody who looked at this staff was healed from the snake bite and stuff. So they've even got it in the Bible, plagiarized, as I keep referring you back to the Bible to show you how they didn't leave it, they put it in there to validate their own story. Okay, today it's the medical symbol for the, not the Red Cross, but it's just the medical symbol. Anything to do with hospital and medical, that's usually the symbol, the caduceus, yeah? And that's linked back to the ability that humans have to heal themselves with the pineal power. We can activate that power ourselves and heal all our own ailments. And each human has got enough power within him to heal the whole world with the chi that's inside of us, yeah? Or Ra, to use our own word, the force of Ra. Yeah, so that's the Kundalini. So that's what happened at the council when they were trying to get Enki to dumb us down. And he really didn't want to dumb us down. And make no mistake, other Anunnaki took it upon themselves to dumb us down. And while Enki was in his disagreeable state, when he was riding with them, there was a couple of times when they cast a spell on us and dumbed us down, especially in their own rivalry between the brothers Enki and Enlil, and using the demon Tarnush. But that's talk for another day. So I say to a lot of people, ask, seek, knock, A-S-K, which means ask. Ask, seek, knock, and the door will be open to you. Everything will be presented to you, for you, okay? Chanting, just like I did the prayer of Osiris there in the Nuwabic. There are various chants. The book's upstairs, so I'm not going to grab it now. Chanting is a good way for you to activate your DNA. Even if you start only 5 minutes a day or once a day in certain times, you just do a little chant calling on the ancestors and stuff. You can DM me if you want a chant to practice, but I should think they're quite easy to find, or you could just make your own up that comes personally from your own soul. And then meditation is good too, but a lot of people get it twisted and think that meditation is like a hard effort. Meditation should come naturally, okay? And meditation, your intention for meditation shouldn't be to get in control of your thoughts. Your intention for your meditation should be to stop letting your thoughts control you. There's a big difference between the two, okay? Food, alkaline diet, like I said at the start, one of the quickest ways to activate your DNA, which will probably be even quicker than your language stuff and that, is food. Getting your diet right, getting on an alkaline diet, cutting out as much of the chemicals as you possibly can. Of course, you're going to have some stuck in this system where there's certain stuff that we fell in love with. But if you can take it down to the minimum, you understand, you deserve an A-star. Food is one of the best ways. Alkaline diets, water with its pH above 7.5. I think it's above 6.5, but I try and make sure it's somewhere around 7.5 or even 8.5. So I know it's fully alkaline, because it takes the impurities and especially the metals and stuff out of your joints. Yeah, so it's the alkaline food and alkaline water, because the medicine is in the food and the food is in the medicine, okay? Also, there's a science called a tuning fork. If you've ever heard of a tuning fork, yeah, you can use a tuning fork to find your vibration, the vibration you were created on. Each soul is created on one of them 7 notes on the scale, where you do, re, mi, la, you understand? So each one of them is your tone. So every time you hear the tone you were created on, you will respond to it, especially in music. You might like a certain kind of song. When you hear a certain kind of sound, that sound is the tone that you was created on. You could activate your DNA just by repeatedly tuning into that tone that you were created on. First recognizing it and then tuning into it. I do that a lot. But if you don't have a tuning fork, you could actually just sit down at a piano, dum, 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 press all the keys over and over again till one just keeps whacking you. Like, yo, this one here, that's the one that's created on. So you could use that tone to tune yourself in, to tune yourself back into the cosmos, okay? Into the source, into the all that there is. Power your passion. Yeah, another one is your passion. Whatever your passion is, it can be used to activate your DNA. Whether you're a painter, a footballer, an architect, builder, an actor, a singer, a writer, whatever you do, that's your passion, that people didn't have to train you to do that. You basically just recognize you loved it and you schooled yourself on it. You put in the over 60 hours and you mastered it yourself. That's your power. Do you understand? That's what makes you unique. That's your That's your USP, unique selling point. You need to find it and access that along with your tone, like I said to you, and also your totem. If you can find your animal totem as an African, as an indigo child, yeah, it will activate your DNA quicker. And self-isolation. I don't mean no quarantine corona stuff. I'm talking about what Nikola Tesla said when he said, if you can spend a lot of time alone, you'll find the secrets to creativity, which is basically the activating of the DNA activation, because creativity goes beyond thought, okay? And in the process of negation, like I've got a technique where every now and then I'll look in the mirror and I'll deal with my eyes, my nose and my mouth. And I'll say to myself repeatedly, I'm not these eyes, I'm not this nose, I'm not this mouth. And then go over again, I'm not these eyes, I'm not this nose, I'm not this mouth. I'm not these eyes, I'm not this nose, I'm not this mouth. And every time I'm saying it, I'm looking at my eyes, then I'm looking at my nose, then I'm looking at my mouth. And if you do this more and more and more and more over and over, you'll come to a realization at some point where you will separate from the person, from the body that you're talking about, this bacteria, this meat suit, and you'll separate into the consciousness that's looking at that in the mirror, that's looking at that meat suit, and you'll come to the realization that you're not that person in the mirror. You're not even there, you're everywhere. And you're just a consciousness that is having the experience what's shown in the mirror. You understand? But you're actually everywhere. So that person you're looking at, you're not inside that person. That person's inside you. To that realization there. That's what I call the process of negation. Like when Abraham went round, according to the Bible story, and said, oh, look at the sun. When he seen the sun rise, he said, this is my God. And then when the sun set, he said, oh, that's not my God. My God don't set. And then when he seen the moon, he said, yo, this is my God. And then when the morning came and the moon went, he said, yo, my God don't go away. That moon ain't my God. And so he negated everything. It's called the process of negation. So I use that in the mirror to negate all this. And I say, Djedefre is not what I see. Djedefre is everything I don't see. The principles, the passion, the likes, the dislike, the attributes. Do you understand what I'm saying? Everything you don't see is what you are, not everything that you see, okay, or what people see. You got crystals and other rituals like planetary alignments and all that stuff can activate you in a strong way. Also, intent, the power of intent, like putting intentions on your water and putting intentions on when you going to sleep, on your pillow, real shit. Like that stuff can activate you in a strong way as well and allow you to hear the call. So I say that's all I wanted to say really, but I'll just say study everything, begin with yourself. And beginning with yourself, you must know you are your DNA, and metabolism plays a part in it too, because a lot of people don't know metabolism's linked to time. According to how fast or slow your metabolism is proven in science that that's linked to your perception of time. So time passes very different for different people based on their diets and based on their eating habits. Time is a very different relative thing, and it's been scientifically proven. Yeah, I'm talking about nursery science of the West, that this time and metabolism is linked. The perception of time, I should say, and metabolism is linked. So we're dealing with a rediscovery of the self, which will help you to activate that 10 to 17% of junk DNA. Also, dreams. Dreams can help you unlock certain things in your own DNA and take your, if you can, go on a dream quest, yeah, and get yourself a notepad where you record all your dreams and write down your dream language, because everybody's got a different dream language. And the more you write your dreams down and see what happens in your life, your dream language will start revealing itself to you. I need to do that more myself. Also, study the number 369. I'm not talking of not just 369 together like 369, but the number 3, the number 6, and the number 9. As Tesla said, the secrets of the universe is locked into them numbers. Also, the 666 carbon Memnon. You study the 666, which is really just 9, because 666 is 18, and 1 and 8 equals 9. Study the 666 carbon 12 and carbon 17 Memnon, because that's the shift that the Caucasians are scared of. Because whether you like it or not, your DNA is going to get activated anyway. Even people who don't want their DNA activated are going to have their DNA activated. So all of us that have got the melanated carbon stick skin, if you study the real science of the 666, which has got nothing to do with no beast or no devil, That's just what they called it because it's the beast to them. Just like how what's God to us is the devil to them, and what's the devil to us is God to them. Do you understand? And also your own hair, your 9-meter hair, which is Tesla coils. It's just basically a Tesla coil, which can download the electromagnetic spectrum, and it's linked with the same solar loops that the sun has, which gives it its corona. And that's why I'm telling you, that is the key to activating your DNA, because there's supernatural powers that's locked in within us, and there's dormant faculties like your 4 higher senses and stuff. If you notice all the movies now trying to show you stuff about superpowers, people who are activating, yeah, we are the ones who are going to activate us golden children, yeah. And that's what coronavirus, the crown virus, yeah, and this is our crown right here. The crown virus has come to put the crown back on the people of the crown and take the crown off of today's crown, which is the false GMO crown. So I got Coronation Agenda 21, the scandemic coming out, and I've got the golden child Israel coming out on the 27th. So that's it, guys, man. That's all I got for you. I just thought I would share that with you guys. I'll be back in the group, among my little group, very soon. I've just been very tied down, do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so keep it up, man, awakened ones. Keep it up, man. I see you all. I just thought I'd share that with you guys, yeah? Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. You don't know how it go, Elijah. Listen, this is why the revolution will be televised. It's not that the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will be televised. Everything is being seen by us, the real Illuminati, the sons of the green light. Do you understand? So that's what it is right now. Share, I should say, learn, digest, apply, teach. That's the sequence that we Elohims have to be on right now. We don't care about what Boris Johnson's saying, or BBC News, or CNN, or Donald Trump, or even bloody, QAnon. None of that shit. We've got the news from inside our DNA. We've got all the truth, the reality inside our DNA. We can download anything we want from the Akasha records. So we don't need this fake media, and we don't need misinformation. All right, guys? I'm gone, man. Peace out. Peace.